2006 was a magical year for Nintendo. They were releasing their newest system, the Nintendo Wii. With motion controls, hype, and wonder, it was very difficult to get your hands on one, but those weren't the only reasons why. It came with a game bundled in, Wii Sports. Wii Sports would change the bundled console launches and give people more of a reason to buy a Wii. Now we all know Wii Sports, the motion controlled game that has 5 sports, training mode, and a fitness mode, before Nintendo decided to make their own fitness game. By the way, it's a lot better than this mode in Wii Sports. But nobody knew that Wii Sports would be this super popular game. With easy pick up and play controls, anybody could play Wii Sports. After making your very own Mii, you have the option to play 5 sports: tennis, baseball, golf, bowling, and boxing. Each sport using the Wii Remote, and boxing using both the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. Before we start playing any sport, however, let's talk about the music to this game. After over a decade of this game being released, the music in this game still slaps. With the iconic Wii Sports theme, the different menu music or sound effects here and there, a lot of the time and effort went into easing the player, casual or hardcore, into playing and having either a fun or relaxing time playing this game. Let's have a listen to part of the main theme and listen to how the piano sets the mood for what you are going to be experiencing while playing this game. Truly iconic. Let's start off with the first sport of this collection, tennis. This game is always played 2v2, since this game has to support 4 players. However, I think it would have been a very interesting idea if there would have been an option for 1v1. There are a number of 3 sets, 1, 3, and 5. If you're playing by yourself, you can either play with an AI or 2 sets of Miis on your side to be you. However, you control both of these Miis at the same time. So if you swing your racket when you are in the back of the court, then your Mii in front will also swing the racket. So you will have to play strategically. If you just play with yourself and an AI, you will learn very quickly that the AI in this game sucks. They are counterintuitive. The only time they will swing is when they are in the back of the court. If they are up in front, they will occasionally swing their racket. Now, I am not a tennis player, but there have been numerous times that the AI could have swung their racket to hit the ball back, but chose not to. This put me into some tough situations. It should also be pointed out that you actually don't control your Mii. You can only use the Wii Remote for this sport, and your Mii moves on your own towards the ball. You might think, no, that is stupid, why can't you use a nunchuck and control your Mii yourself? The reason for that, try swinging a Wii Remote with a nunchuck attached to it. Doesn't feel good, does it? I think it is a better choice for the movements to be done by itself. If you win or lose a match, you get a type of experience points. This XP will raise your rank. Raising your rank to 1000 makes you a pro status. This is for all 5 sports in this game. Now remember, this game is not online, and pro status is just to show off to your friends and family who play this Wii. Some sports, like tennis, this process of becoming pro is very long and tedious. You have to play a lot of matches and score quickly to earn XP. Also, as you go up in the ranks, so does your opponents, but tennis is the only sport where your opponents are several hundred points ahead of you. By the time you get to the 500 point range, they are 1000 points pro status. Why are they so high up? There is no reason for them to be. It could be a slight increase, not a huge difficulty spike. Actually, this difficulty spike and how slow and tedious the XP grind was, maybe quit trying to get pro status for tennis. When you are playing a game of tennis, you will notice when you swing your racket and hit the ball, the sound effect will be coming from the Wii Remote. This type of technology was new and intuitive at the same time. It actually puts the player on the court, like they are actually playing the sport. And this is not just for tennis, but for all of the sports. It's something that I have always found really fascinating and wondered why Nintendo didn't do more with it. Now moving over to America's favorite pastime sport, baseball. I found this sport to be the only sport where more than 4 people could play. Of course, turns would have to be taken and some players might only be able to swing the bat. The reason for that is because this version of baseball is dubbed down. You can only swing the bat and pitch the ball. The catching is done by the Mii's own movement, kind of like in tennis, which can lead to some frustrating moments, especially in the outfield, since these Mii's move 1 mile an hour. But I digress. It is very satisfying hitting the ball and getting a home run or even a rare out of the park. Speaking of singles, doubles, and triples, it is based around how much time it takes for the Mii to pick up the ball. They do not throw the ball at any of the bases to get an out, so if they catch a pop fly or catch a ball in the outfield, it is of course out. But if it is up in the infield, it is most likely an out. However, if the Mii misses the catch or they try and pick up the ball and mess up, which you can tell when they do by an exclamation point on top of their head, is more time allowed for a run, which this happens often than it should. Going back to singles, doubles, and triples, if a Mii gets one of those runs, then all of the Miis on the base move. So for example, there's a Mii on second base and I get a double, then that Mii from the second base scores a run and my Mii is on second base. Like I have said before, it is a dubbed down version of baseball. Maybe a bit too dubbed down. Lastly, with baseball, pitching is very unique since you can throw right down the line, screwball, fastball, curveball, and all of the sort. So there are plenty of different pitches you can throw at the opponent to mess them up. Or you can be like me at the bat and keep hitting foul balls. Next sport is everyone's favorite, bowling. Bowling is Wii Sports. This sport is what made Wii Sports as popular as it is. The reason why, it is at your own pace and the controls are super easy. All you do is hold down the B button, move your arm back and swing your arm forward. You know, like you're actually bowling. Now, I don't want to explain the game of bowling since it isn't hard to play and understand, but I love the aesthetic of this game. You're in a bowling alley with other Miis behind you and others playing on the other lanes. This game tells me that Nintendo has put a lot of care and attention into this type of aesthetic. With the game, if you receive pro status, then you get a diamond-shaped design as your bowling ball, and honestly, it is awesome. My favorite thing to do in this game is throw the ball back and for all the Miis to freak out. Next sport is the bit controversial one for me, golf. I do not hate the sport of golf, I actually enjoy playing it. However, Wii Sports Golf could have been improved on. On the left hand side, you have a power bar. It shows if you are overswinging or even underswinging. You have to match this power bar with the map and see where the ball could go. If you overswing, then the ball goes in a different direction, which could ruin your end score. I don't hate the sport on Wii Sports, but I think it is not accurate, which I understand since it was the first days of the Wii. It won't be accurate up to 100%. I do like the sport though. I think the courses are well designed and gives you an additional challenge, and the music is very relaxing to listen to. I just can't get over how hard I tend to swing the golf clubs though. Last sport is boxing. I find boxing to be a great workout tool in this collection since all the AI in this game is broken. Let me explain how this is possible. When you first start off in the lower ranks, the AI is standing in front of you with the occasional move side to side, but when you get into the higher ranks, your opponents will like to bend over backwards like in the Matrix to avoid your hits. It's annoying since it only leaves few options to get some hits in. I always thought this was a glitch, but no, just poor design. I also find it funny when you get on a higher level towards pro, your opponents will try and do a few jabs to make a combo. So what is the best way of countering this? Literally doing the same thing back. I don't know, I found the sport to be annoying as I progressed higher up in the ranks. I think it is the only sport in this collection to get into a sweat, but better design could have helped the sport. So that is all 5 sports of Wii Sports. But we are not done yet. There are 2 different game modes called Training and Fitness. Training is taking the 5 sports and making different challenges based around that sport. The higher your score, the higher your rank will be with either bronze, silver, gold, or even platinum. Each sport has 3 different training exercises. For tennis, it is hitting the ball back to your opponent, hitting the ball in a certain orange force field-like area, and target practice. For baseball, there's hitting home runs and how far they go, swing control hitting the ball into a certain direction, and batting practice. For golf, which has the best type of training exercises, it's putting, trying to score the golf ball into the hole, hitting the green where you try and get as close as the hole as you can, and target practice where you can try and hit the ball in different scoring fields. This is the best training exercise in my opinion since it takes a sport like golf and makes it creative unlike the other sports. For bowling, there is picking up spares, which is self-explanatory, power throws, throwing the ball down the lane to get a strike, and the number of pins you hit gets added onto the next lane. Which, fun fact, this was inspired for the 100-pin bowling in Wii Sports Resort, another game we will get to down the road. And spin control, trying to hit the pin without hitting the barricade in front of you. Lastly, boxing. There is hitting the bag where you punch the bag or bags, dodging the trainer throwing balls at you, and you have to dodge them as they come to you. Kind of self-explanatory. And throwing punches where the trainer holds up a mitt that you hit, and if you hit the trainer, points are deducted. So overall, the training isn't inspiring or even creative, besides 1 or maybe even 2. I felt like they could have done more with this game mode and different type of sports that they were working with. Also, training doesn't help you in the sport, it helps you in the fitness game mode because Fitness is taking 3 random training exercises and testing you to see if you can get down to your Wii Sport age. Even though I am 25 years old, my Wii Sports age was 24, which doesn't make any sense. I think this was a great idea at the time of this game being out. However, we all know this idea was used in a better fitness type of game called Wii Fit. I want to give the sound and music department some shoutouts. The sound effects for hitting the ball in tennis, swinging the bat in baseball, hitting the pins in bowling, taking a swing from the golf club in golf, and taking a hit in boxing all sound amazing. It sounds like you are actually in the sport. And of course the music in this game is just phenomenal, something that people still reference to this day. Wii Sports is a game where anyone can pick up a Wii Remote and play, and that is the beauty of this game. Anyone can play it.